the paragraph that begins at the very end, 3 lines from the bottom. It's not going back too much, but it'll give us, put our feet in the water. Behold, we explained earlier the shorosh oiros, that the roots of the oiros means the oiros of the esospheres. In contrast to what we just now introduced, the oil makif, that does not go into kelim even at the very end of its development. It's completely above being contained in kelim. It's a makif. As briefly introduce what it is. But oiros, this is the esospheres, the distinct oiros. So we explained there that the root of these oiros are gamkim miyuchodim b'ha'etzem. And also miyuchod is united with the etzem. This is a, so to speak, a discovery in a certain sense. It's really a very loaded statement, because these oiros have an individual intent and individual qualities, to the extent that they already have certain design and a certain aim to be ultimately being established in Kelim. Ultimately. But that ultimate intent is already contained at their inception. Excuse me. How are these oiros then to be perceived, understood to be miyuchad b'etzem, to be united with etzem itself? The etzem, which is completely above the whole process of development. Kelim. And yet these oiros that ultimately end up in Kelim are miyuchad b'etzem. Miyuchad, united. Wherever they are, they carried an etzem message. Shezehu inyan, which is the principle that we did. This is all a kind of a reminder of what we learned then. Shezehu inyan shmi hamiyuchad bi. This is the principle. So shmi. This is the others are shmi, my name. Hashem refers to it as my name. Hamiyuchad bi. My name means my unique name. Not a name of reference, but my name that actually unites with me. Thank you very much. Vehein min hakolov. And the spheres, these oiros, are min hakolov, as we discussed there. Min hakolov means, is it of the same make at the konof itself, just like tzitzis. This is an allusion to the tzitzis, by the tzitzis. That tzitzis are hung, the strings, in the separate strings, and these strings are attached manually to the garment, to the talus. And even though they are attached to the garment as external entities, they unite with the talus perfectly. Why? Because they're min hakonof. They're of the same material as the konof. And it's required that they should be of the same material as the konof. What is the significance of that requirement? That the tzitzis represent the garment. Even despite the fact that they become individual strings and have their symbolic meaning. The same thing, the oiros of the esospheres are also like min hakonof. They represent the konof of the etzem from which they derive. Hamiyuchad bi, the shmi, my name, which is miyuchad with me. Excuse me. I want to clarify. I want that we should recognize the significance of these words. Shmi hamiyuchad bi. And v'hem min hakonov. Because we can say these words and they sound very lofty, but it does not necessarily awaken anything in our intellect and appreciation of what we're talking about. It may take a couple of minutes, but it's worth it. We said many times a phenomenal statement in the Gemara. Adam she'eino bayis eino yod. A human being does not have a home is not a human being. A home is an external abode that provides for human comfort and human security. And yet you say, eino yodam, if he's lacking that, he is not really a full-fledged human being. Which we have discussed, which alludes to a very important principle, that in this human being, as great as he is, and as true as he is, there's an element, there's the root in this human being that he must have a home, that must have a place that he can call his own. I don't mean necessarily own it, but his own, that he belongs there. Because as we discussed, the whole phenomenon principle behind it. So in this human being, as great as he is contained an element that demands that he have a place in the world. And if he does not get that, if he does not have that place, he is not fully a human being. This is the principle. Okay, I'm jumping a little bit. So therefore, when a person does have a home, despite the fact that this home is something that he acquires, that is external to him, yet it is so fully and perfectly and fundamentally united with him that this actually comes back to refine who he is. It's not just the surface area, it defines what a human being is. This is the union that the oiris, amin hakonov, shmi hamiyuchad bi, even though it's a name. A name is an external thing. But this name represents me. Not alludes to me or represents me. The fact that I have a name, that represents me in a very real sense. Kanaf is the garment edge. The edge
of the garment.
I'm sorry?
The edge of the garment.
Edge of the garment. Having said that the shoroshi ho'iris, the oiris at their root state, amiyuchad are united with the etzem, and ultimately they are of the etzem quality. Mikol mokem, the second line of it. Mikol mokem, yet still, harei, behold. I pointed out many times the form of expression in Hasidus. Harei. Harei means behold. Behold means, I'm not telling you something that should be kind of a shocker. I'm telling you something that you don't know. No. I'm alerting you, I'm calling your attention that which you already know. That's mean Harei. You inherently know that, but you may not have paid attention to it. You may not.
To remain on this call, press 1.
Become aware. So I'm alluding to it, to the fact that to this your personal truth.
Disconnected.
The idea of confirmation of an idea?
No, not confirmation. No, not confirmation, but revealing what you are.
Okay.
This means Harei. This is a very common expression, and they always point out, Hare means behold. Behold means open your eyes and see it. I'm not telling you something that you don't know already, but you may not be aware of it. You didn't behold it. Hare, behold, Ha'or hazeh, this oir, since it is oir, min hakonov, is of the same make as the konov. Therefore, this oir hu masheshir. No. I'm singing it differently, wrongly. This is mikomokim. Yet still, even though in truth it is min hakonov, it is of the quality of the konov and the quality of the yatzim. Still, there is something unique about it. There is something separate in it. Oir hazeh, this oir hu masheshir oir esav lehoyer ha'oilemos. This is what the oir esav had projected, that it should be a luminary to the world. Which means it's an oil that can relate to the world. On one hand, you say that this is oil in soyim, that this is min hakonov, this represents the etzem. On the other hand, this is something which is already focused on world. World and etzem are different realms totally. In a nutshell, in brief, world, everything in world is a composite. In Etzem, everything is one. World is dependent on structure, bringing things together. Etzem does not have any of that aspect at all. So therefore, we have this anomaly, this oddity, and this is the truth, that even though this is an oil that min hakonov, yet this oil has already been predefined, predesigned in its inception, to be able ultimately to give light and bring the impact of the etzem on the world, to relate to the world. V'zehu, that then therefore explains, since that it has an inherent intent of the Hoyer Aloyos, therefore that explains that the oil, this oil, at its inception, has 10 spheres. What is the principle of the 10 spheres? We already discussed it before. As a spheres, hagnuzes, and so forth. What is the principle of 10 spheres? The principle of 10 spheres is that 10 spheres, this is a specific number. And what the intent, what is the allusion in this number? It's a number that defines 10 steps that are necessary to bring the oil from its source onto Kelim, onto Metzius. This is 10 spheres. And these 10 spheres are contained within the oil at its very inception. Because the oil at its very inception is already aimed, already has, so to speak, an inherent affinity with ultimately with world. it has the capacity to ultimately bring itself to the world, because this is the essence filis. And the Rebbe repeats in a certain sense, Meshum, because the klal is hoir hu. The reason that it has essence filis is that the klal is hoir, because the oil overall. What is the significance of this oil in the beginning? Lahoyer al hoilames. It is to illuminate as hoilams, to illuminate the world. This is why it has inherently essence filis. V'lulei hoilames, were it not for the worlds, einam shayochim b'chinas hoilum klal. These qualities of essence filis, even chokhmah, the whole identity of the individual spheres, starting from the very top even, chokhmah, that completely relates to the etzem, and all the way, of course, all the way down to malchus. This is all due to the fact that it has an inherent affinity, intent, and relationship to world. And we're talking about oil as at its inception, in the very beginning, in its source, in the etzem. Ukmeisha kosu b'zeyar. B'ray mehenin pashu pinchos dafresh no zayin omed beis. I'm a Hamlin is a certain section in Zayar. And there it says like this. The Ihu Iskri Chocham. That Ihu, he, Atzmus, Iskri Chocham, can be called, can be referred to with the name Choch. B'chol minei chochmas, with every kind of chochma that there can be, that there is. V'chol yishev sham, and then in the Zohar he enumerates kol ha'sesfiras. He lists all the 10 spheres. He's a chacham b'chol minei chachmas. Just like chachma contains all eventuality, so there, in the very source of the oilers, there is all the essence spheres, which means there is the chacham, and the chacham and the chachma contains b'chol minei chachmas. Everything that the chachma can produce. Elo except Koidem the Boro Almo, before that he created the world, Iskrihu Iskrihu, he is referred to B'chol Inan Dargin, B'chol Inan Dargin, in all of these madregos, Al Shem Boryan. Al Shem by Boryan, he is referred to by all these madrigas, not because he possesses these madrigas. Al Shem Boryan, by referring to what is going to be created. The Havasidim Lehiboris, that are due to be created. He is alluded to by these 10 spheres, not because of the presence of 10 spheres, but because there is the intent there to create them. Asidim Liboris. The love body and the almo. For if not for the creation of the world, amai iskiri rachum. Jacob gives us a very simple piece of reasoning. If not for the creation of the world, Amai Ishkini Racham. Why is he called Racham? Merciful. Mercy applies to an entity, to an external entity. But if there is no allusion to world or to creation of the world, Amai Ishkini Racham, why is he called Racham? The reason, so the Zohar is clearly pointing out, he is called Racham, not because he is called Racham in his own being, but because of the world that he is due to create. Which means at that point, there's already the projection of creating a world. And this is why he has 10 spheres. The 10 spheres are reflective of the world that he is going to create. Hainu, okay, we're in the middle of this fourth line from the top. Miracle, we got to this point. We didn't crash. Hainu, which means to say, Shakol Hoeses Spheres, El Kol Hoeses Spheres, all the 10 spheres, Hein Letzerech Ho'elam Hoes. They are Letzerech Ho'elam Hoes, they are for the need and for the purpose of ultimately the resulting creation of the world. All 10 spheres, including Chochmah itself. Ukmoi bechinas ha-malchus, just as the bechina of malchus. Harei, behold, clear, everybody can clearly recognize that inyan ha-melucha shaya, that the inyan of melucha is applicable, sheyesh am dafke, only when there is an am. What is am? That there is a nation of people distinct from the king. That's when the union of Malchus is Shayach, is applicable. Kamaimer. And as the saying is, Ein melech b'lo am. There is no melech b'tar hanam. A melech b'tar the am is not a melech. The am is what substantiates and completes the phenomenon of melech. In fact, the cause of the will of the creation of the world, clearly the worlds were created volitionally, which means there was a rotzen, a will in Oyer Ein Sof, in the Atzmos, to create world. And what is the cause for this rotzen? What is it need world for? In other words, in what way is the world aspect contained within the Etzem to bring forth the union of creation of this world? Etzem created the world. That means that that the world is rooted in Atzmos. Where is it in the Atzmos, the different world? Kasibas horotzen, Sabas ho ilmes hu, Lipnei she'olo birtzoinei ano emlich. It is due to the fact that in Hashem's will there arose this principle of ano emloich, I shall rule, I shall be king. Ve'ein melech b'leyam. If I know Emloich, I want to be king, and ein melech b'leyam. I cannot be king without an am. Okay, thus, to satisfy this rotzen, ano Emloich, all of birtzoinoi. All of birtzoinoi. It arose in his wrote in his will. That there should be words.
Is it possible to say that there is something that compels him to want to be a king? Or is that
No, it cannot be.
right?
We are not up to discussing that.
Okay.
Bichlal.
All right.
First, let's understand what we're saying.
Fine.
Where this rotzen comes from is we're not preparing for this. The point is that there was a rotzen.
Right.
And the will was that ano emlich, as the Gemara says. And since ein melech b'lo, this is why the rotzen also alerted the inyan that there should be words, in order to satisfy the inyan from this rotzen. Okay, these are very fundamental things. I hope that we pay attention. This which we say. Adon Oilom, the master of the world, Asher Molach, who reigned b'terem kol yitzur nivro, before all creation came to be. If you say ein melech b'layam, how can you then attribute melucha b'terem kol yitzur nivro, because before everything was created? Before everything was created, you cannot be a melech. Ein melech b'layam. So what does it mean? The explanation is Hainu. That refers to Bechinas Hamlucha. This is the Bechina of the Melucha, Bechina of reigning, of the reign. Kmei Shehi Be'atzmusa Yisborech, the way the principle of reign is Be'atzmusa Yisborech, is contained within his Atzmus. Shalamaylo Mebechinas Gilui. That is above, higher, the Mina HaMelucha, higher than the aspect of Gilui, of expression and revelation. This principle, that something exists prior to its actual functioning existence, like the Gilui. We had discussed this principle at many different levels, even at the human level, in various times and various levels. Pointing out very simply, we said that a table is a human principle, not just the functionality, the need of a table, in order to have a place to put the cup down. But the very phenomenon of a human being sitting by a table is completely human. Yes, it's on a functional level, it's on a revealed level, but it reveals, it expresses his human quality, not a functional aspect only. A human being sits at the table. They pointed out that when people want to sit down and want to discuss things, they also feel comfortable sitting at the table, even if there's nothing on the table. The reason for that is, we're not going to go to it again now, just want to alert the de-hinay, for the purpose of recognizing that there is an element, a true quality exists prior to its functional design, revelation. So this is the allusion to this when it says, Molach b'terem kol etzur nivra. The din hamalchus, prior to Gilui, to revealing the din hamalchus. The way the malchus is inherent in the melech himself, in Atmos itself. Clearly, this deserves a little bit of attention and understanding. I think yesterday or the day before, we spoke about the phenomenon that you go and you invite a guest to join you at the table. Friday night, Shabbos, or any old Monday. The principle of hosting a guest, we all understood, is not just out of compassion for the guest because he doesn't have a place to sit or to eat. Rather, it's a perfect fit, the host and the guest. What does it mean it's a perfect fit? The perfect fit is that a human being, in his deepest crevices of his intellect, he recognizing that there's a big world, and that there's a whole human race. He is not an anomaly in the world. Oh, he's a human. There's a whole world of human beings who are related to one another, one way or the other, who are responsible for one another, who have concern for one another, who constitute the world. This is what we pointed out the other day, that when the Rebbe created the world, the first 5 days of creation finished the whole creation. On the 6th day, on Friday, the Rebbe created the human being. What was the world prior to bringing the human being into it? We discussed this many times. Ultimately, we recognize that there was not a world. The human being is what makes the world into a world. Every human being has that effect, that contribution. And thus, when you invite a guest to your table, a human being, a guest to your table, you're not going out of your way. You're in your world, in your reality. This reality exists by you before the guest even came into being. before you recognize that there is a person who needs invitation, accommodation. It's inherent in the host's mentality that he has place for other people. Not only place, but he actually vies for them. He's looking for this company and to be accommodating. This is the principle of there being this kind of reality prior to its necessity, prior to its factual creation. This is the similar Indian. We talk about a much, really at a much higher level than we should understand. I shall be king. And Molech HaBetelem culture is a melech before all significance of Malchus on the practical level has come to be identified.